Good morning. My name is Fabien Gagné. I'm MAAC member 87950. This is a message to the Board of Directors of MAAC. But let's take a moment before to present myself. I'm a professional technologist with a major in systems engineering and another major in farm management. I had the first career in systems engineering, and now I'm now a farmer. I own a farm. I own a vineyard. I'm also a part-time researcher. I'm very active in the development of the sailplane competitions at the local, national, international level, and also in the development of new talents, especially in youth. I'm doing a lot of volunteer work, just like you do. I know what it means. I've been a director in several other non-for-profit organizations and had the chance to see some absolutely amazing leadership. Over the last few months, I've seen our affiliation to the FAI, the Olympic movement, in jeopardy, and thus responded to the invitation of MAAC to take part in the decision process. We received a survey. We had an AGM. This in turn brought me to read the MAAC By-Laws and Policy Manual, and I've seen several issues in there. Some are very serious in my opinion. But I'm not asking you to take my word for it. I'm just hoping to provide the directors with enough concern to raise some concern with them as well, because having just the smallest concern is what is needed for a director to go seek for a professional opinion. And let's see why that is. Okay, I'm going to present you. This is the Canada Non-for-Profit Corporation Act. This is the act by which our MAAC organization exists. It's here in Part 9, Article 124. We learned that directors have a duty to manage the corporation, of course, but these duties are more specifically to ask honestly and in good faith with a view on the best interest of the corporation and exercise care, diligence, and skill that a reasonably prudent person would exercise. They also have a duty to comply to this act and regulation. And in this order, then, the articles and the bylaws of the corporation. They've written this in this order because, of course, we're expected to comply to the act first. The directors also have to verify the lawfulness of the articles and the purpose of the corporation. The directors are expected to act in good faith, and they further specify that the director relies in good faith if they rely on a report from a person whose profession lends credibility to their statement. So it means here, most specifically, it means something like a lawyer. So I'm not a lawyer myself, but we'll see why I'm presenting this to you. So we've seen that the directors and officers are obligated to comply with the Act, obligated to verify the lawfulness of the corporation document, and the verification is deemed in good faith only if it's reported from a person whose profession lends credibility to the statement. And profession here is taken, it means from an order, professional order, like a lawyer. Let me switch to here. So, and oh yeah, and what happens when a director fails to their duties is outside the scope of this presentation. So nice. We've seen that directors have obligation to verify the lawfulness of the corporate documents and processes. I have noted more, but to keep this presentation, what follows is just one single claim that should qualify to raise some concern in your mind. Recall that it's not a professional opinion because as per the Act, my own profession is not one that qualifies to lend credibility to my report. So here's the claim. There's no democracy anymore in our organization because the vast majority of votes are in effect controlled by the directors themselves. 13 people. We could cram 1,000 member and or signed proxies in a meeting room, and all their votes would still count for only 10%, with the remaining 90% being illegally exercised by zone directors. Let's have a look at the NFP Act again. Absentee voting. The Act is very specific as to what happens to the vote of a person that is not present at a members meeting. The bylaws of a corporation may provide for any prescribed method of voting by members not in attendance at a meeting of members. All right. If the bylaws so provide, they shall set out procedure for collecting, counting, and reporting the result of any vote. So we're not talking here about people not voting. We're talking about here how are we going to collect and count the votes of absent people. Okay? And there is further information on how this is applied in another document that's called Canada Not-for-Profit Corporation Regulation. Here it is. In Article 74(1), for the purpose of subsection 171(1) of the Act, which we have just seen together, it says that there are three ways, three prescribed methods of voting, not four, not five, three. The first is voting by proxy. The second is voting by mailed-in ballot. And the third is voting by means of a telephonic, electronic, or other communication facility. There's no way of another person voting in the name of another without express signed consent of proxy. See, item A. It's not the case. Our bylaws here, that where our zone directors vote, does not comply to this paragraph here. And by the way, when voting is by electronic means, the method should enable the votes to be gathered in a manner that permits their subsequent verification. Just by the way, okay? Also, members not in attendance at a meeting of members may vote by appointing in writing a proxy holder. So this here further specifies what it means voting by proxy. There. It's by appointing in writing a proxy holder. So it's not being absent and not saying anything. So we've seen that the NFP Act has no provision for any person to exercise the voting rights of a member without his express signed consent. So, a suggested course of action from here: at the next AGM, tally the votes of the zone directors separately. Seek the advice of a professional on the lawfulness of the bylaw, more specifically, item 9A, 9E, and 9F. Reassess the results of the voting at the AGM based on whether the bylaws 9E was lawful or not. I'm not saying that they are lawful or not lawful. I'm trying to convince you that there is just perhaps something wrong, and seek professional advice as you should. And so at the end of the AGM, reassess the result, publish the update of the voting, and modify the bylaws based on the recommendation of the professional, and call a members meeting to ratify the changes. If you're a member of a professional order like me, I recall that you all had signed an ethic engagement, and this ethic engagement is applicable even outside your professional activities. In this case, if you're a zone director, I recall you that your ethics is with you. So that's one more reason to, I hope, have a doubt in your mind that perhaps there's something wrong with the voting. So with this, I wish you a good AGM. Thank you very much for your attention.